Hello. Sorry about that delay, but I am here today to do yet another review of yet another video game. That one being Darksiders. Yeah, it's in one of those GameStop cartridge boxes, but still got the game actually here. See? Yeah, well, I don't know. Let's see. Well, start off with the game was tough as can be. I tell you what, that game, and I put it on easy, and that game was ridiculous, but it wasn't like, Super Meat Boy kind of tough. It was like, I don't know, sometimes this ridiculous kind of stuff they expected you to do. It's like, what is this? This is madness. I don't care. Like some of them, like for one, you had to defeat this one boss. And first, you have to pick up the bomb, and you gotta press aim, and you gotta press lock on, then you gotta find her, and then you gotta throw it. And it's like, and you have to do that. It's like in a very short time period, and it's like, that's ridiculous. And it just like really went to show like how like impractical doing that sort of movement and action really was, and I still hate that part, and it's just ridiculous. And it was like, that was like the first boss, and it's like, what is that? I don't know. I mean, I like sometimes like the jumps in that game were kind of like weird. I don't know, like I hate it in sometimes games where you can just walk right off the ledge and it doesn't do anything to like help like protect you, like some sort of failsafe. Yeah, I know it's my own fault, but it's like, I don't know. When the jumps seem like when you barely are able to make the jump, you really want to get like as much as you can. And when that game, like, you basically wanted to not jump until you had to be pretty safely away from the ledge in order to make the jump almost at times. Like, I don't know. It just seems like some jumps were like right at the limit of your jumping abilities, and it's just like, no, I hate them games. It's like, I don't like that because it makes me it freaks me out, because it's like, am I gonna even make that jump? And the only way you make it is because the game like locks onto the light. So you yourself normally are not doing this because it like automatically shoots you up, and like, that's cheating. And sometimes you didn't know if you could if you could hang on, because sometimes the main character wouldn't hang on to certain ledges because he wasn't supposed to, kind of thing. I'm like, It didn't help when like certain colors, like there wasn't distinguishable sometimes. Sometimes there wasn't distinguishable things in which you could know if you could hang on with, and just, I don't know, like, also the fact that there was it got sometimes glitchy on me. Like, so on one time I got stuck in between the door because I guess I wasn't smart enough to walk through the door fast enough, and then the door like shut in between me. So I guess it did have a what if statement. They're stuck in there, and I'm like, or conflicting what if statements in which I was basically stuck in the door, and I had to reload from the last save point, which wasn't the biggest deal. It started me right back off at the puzzle, but it's just like annoying. And then like one time it started to get all like laggy on me for some reason. Like, I guess because I activated my rage, I think that's what it's called, and like at a weird point, I guess that made it to where the whole game was freaking out on me, and I had to reload then, and then just, the fact that the guy gets hurt from fire when he's like of fire, for them, it seems weird. I guess he's not made of fire, but I don't know. A demon getting hurt by fire seems kind of weird and out of place, but that's just aside. And also, like, on the weapons part, like, you would, like, if you switched weapons or something, or War's sword just disappear. And it wasn't like it even, like, came back, like, cool, it just popped up and like, it would just instantly pop up, and I'm like, that's just lame. You guys at Virgil couldn't think of anything to make that seem to make more sense. I don't know. Maybe I'm putting too much thought in it. It's those little things that kind of are like, huh, I don't know. But like, and like the items sometimes I felt like were kind of useless, like the gun Mercy and the Earth Caller or whatever that one horn thing you could. I never really used those. I mean, you got the one where you have to face the Ash Titans and you have to use your gun, Mercy. But other than that, like that was like for that. I didn't use it against normal monsters because it would have taken forever. The gun sucks. Has horrible power. You would think it would be awesome, but it doesn't. It stings. And it's like, what is that? That's lame. That serves no purpose, and they could have easily, probably, if they had thought, to probably make some sort of thing where they could have something else. It seems like it was pointless. And that Earth thing, you use it to call those guardian things that unlock the doorway, pathway, and that's it. That's all you. I mean, you could use it if you wanted against enemies, but really, I really didn't think it was worth it, personally. But that's just me. But like, yeah, like other than your sword or your other weapons, kind of suck. Like the scythe and the tremor gauntlets, like they really just didn't. I mean, in comparison, I don't know. Well, it didn't help that only so Chaos Seeker would have a lot more extensive moves list than the other two weapons, and the other two weapons were kind of like limited in that respect, and you couldn't really level them up as fast because like they just weren't as powerful. I don't know. It just like Chaos Seeker was the only weapon I actually leveled up. The other two never leveled up once. The whole game, I almost leveled up the Reaper, but still didn't, and so that's kind of lame. What they should have done is just like, because you get the Tremor Gauntlet thing, and then like you can switch it off from other weapons. But I mean that's cool and all, but it's kind of like, I don't know. They should have just had him keep the gauntlet on because it'll disappear if you use like the Gatling hook thing. I forget what it's called, but if you have the trim, they should have had it both because then he would have had two really cool arms, and then they just could have added on to that, and then his move set could have been. Like, it now has a new list of moves he could do that incorporate his fists. Like, he could, like, punch it, and then, like, throw him up, and, like, do all sorts of cool moves. And he could have his scythe. The scythe could, like, his sword could, like, transform into, like, the handle on his sword could, like, extend, and his blade would, like, curve out, and, like, do all sorts of cool moves, and then, like, it would come back, and then incorporate more moves. But it wouldn't cause you to, well, you could push triangle and that would activate like you could do those moves, but you don't have to switch on and off, and it's not like, I don't know, it would flow more, I feel like, because if it was just that weapon and it would just flow and then boom, it's like it would have more continuous combos and it would be more fluid, because I noticed like when you went to the scythe or whatever, your combo kind of went on like stop, and then you could go back and do your combos with your sword, and I'm like, that's kind of lame. But like, yeah, so that was the main thing. Yeah, the moves were cool, but that just seemed like you always use the same moves on every single. I mean, it's like it kind of was like, nah, these cool moves are cool. You might like hamburgers, but you don't want to eat that every single day, kind of thing. And I mean, the game had a good length and all. I mean, it was pretty. It took me like 13 or so hours. I imagine like in total it could take you like 15 if you try to find everything. Because I kind of just did a straight up run through and not try to look for every little thing. I'm sure that if you did that, it could take you probably 15. And if you put it on apocalyptic mode difficulty, that could take you even longer. Because I can only imagine. Can't even imagine how difficult that game would be on that difficulty. It'd be ridiculous when you want to think about it. And I don't know, it seemed kind of gimmicky. You can almost say that you have to buy your abilities as if like, oh, I know how to do this, but I just don't have the money to be able to do the move. It's like you should be able to do the move based on the amount of times you use it. Like if you keep using the move, in theory you gain experience. Like in real life, you don't have to buy experience. You do get experience by doing it, So it just seems like that's a gimmicky thing to try to like, I don't know, it seemed kind of pointless. And like some serpent hole things, like I don't get the point of like, why you had to walk through the hole each time, and there was no, like, it just had you walking. What was the point of that? Why didn't you just have me go to the place? Why did I have to go through this little walkway thing? It's like, there's no point. I think it was just pointless. I don't know. If they were going to do that, they should have made it more extensive. Like, I should have had to do more stuff. I don't know. But not just have me walk around. That seems pointless and stupid, and I don't like it. But, I mean, the graphics were cool enough. The water graphics sucked. Just gonna point that out. Like, they just were not good times. But, I don't know. I guess this was just one of those games like Dante's Inferno that was one of those adaptations to try to, you know, to beat God of War. But you can't beat God of War because they've done it so much more fluidly than you did. But that's all I'm gonna say. I think that's about all I have to say about that. But and after all that, I'd still say I'd still get it. Because then after, I mean, it was still fun. It just kind of wore on you. Get it? No pun intended. Ha. Signing out.